pulling up to the SWAGmodovars. Is the He Said, She Said podcast. And what a week, Lady G.
Oh, my God. I'm winded. You see me? I'm panting.
Well, yeah, don't pant too much because you know how I get every time I hear. If I hear you panting, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, let's stop this podcast right now and let's get to it.
No, but for real,
yes.
I'm really catching my breath here. We were busy.
It was a crazy busy week. So as you guys already know, if you don't know yet, you know, I started my job for iHeartRadio. This is my first week, complete week. And it's been a very fun but very busy week.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I got to get up in the morning.
Yes.
I got to go to work.
You have an alarm that goes off. I got an alarm.
Yep. I got all of that.
But I have to say, you were getting up early before anyways because you were taking Brandon to school.
Yes. Yeah, I was getting up early. So the thing is that I have found out here in South Florida, and I did it, obviously, working from home and just taking my son to school. Mm-hmm. I didn't notice how crazy the mornings are as far as traffic is concerned.
Yeah. Now do you understand my frustration?
Yes, but you remember I understand your frustration, but you work like 5 minutes from the home. Like 7 minutes, not even that.
Yeah,
you know?
not even.
But going to work and going all the way down over there, it's just like, you know, like my job is literally like 27 minutes away from here, but it comes out to be 45, even an hour sometimes, coming back if I leave at a certain time where the traffic is. So I try to get there early and leave earlier. So I still do my time, but I just leave earlier. So I'm trying to get here by 3 o'clock so I beat the traffic because I'm going to be honest, like I'm not going to be able to make it if I'm in the traffic all the time.
Well, I know you've been playing around with the time a little bit.
Yes.
So now, by the end of this week, you feel like you got the right time?
I got the right time. I got to get up at 6. Yeah, I got to get up at 6. I got to leave at 6:20.
Okay.
You know, so as long as I get up, you know, like, or leave by 6:20, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to get there. So that's what I'm doing. I have to try to, you know, how to figure out the right time in order to beat the traffic and get there in a decent amount of time. But you know, we have done a great week. And I'm loving it because they're really about that social media. Like, they love to post. They want to encourage people to post. They encourage people to do reels. And I'm like, hello, like, you got the best guy right here. So I've been doing some videos for them and stuff like that. And, you know, but I got to do it right because I also have to make sure that our followers I don't want to, because, you know, we do our content. So I can't put our content, the station's content, and it's like content, super content.
You don't want to flood them. You don't want to flood them.
Yeah, I don't want to flood them with a lot of radio stuff.
Is there such a thing as flooding our fans and our supporters?
I think that you can flood them to a certain point and a certain degree because, like, one thing that I have found is a real good topic that you actually bring when you ask that question. It's like, you know, we started doing comedy bits.
Yes.
And we have changed a little bit of steer away a little bit of just comedy bits. And for you guys that do not understand, the reason why we had to move from doing comedy bits, there's a few factors in there because we love to do those.
Yeah.
We love to reenact those comedy bits.
And we're good at it, and it comes naturally.
Yes. But the thing is, number one is TikTok does not pay you if anything under a minute. So if you're doing a comedy bit, it only allows you to use 59 seconds of the clip. 59.
Yes.
So if there's a clip that's a minute and 2, it's not going to let you use. You could use only under a minute. Then now what happens when you do it under a minute? You don't get paid for the content. And also when you're working with brands sometimes want you to do a content about their product. So when you do a comedy bit, it's about the comedy bit. It's not about the brand, you know, product. Now, I cannot show this to you in a way and tell you the benefits or have a real good skit with this. So, you know, that's what it comes down to. So, and also we wanted to. I feel like we were very unique.
I was going to use the word original. Like, I feel like that originality that we bring when we come up with our own stuff is cool. It's fat. It's relatable.
And it's funny. Like, I think that we're good at what we do. And I've seen a lot of families, you know, they have their original content. So I know that a lot of people's like, oh, you guys are not doing the same thing you used to. But when we were doing the comedy bits, people were like, be original. And
hey, it's like, you can't win. You can't catch a break around here, y'all.
You don't win. But I love doing our own original stuff because I do believe that we are very creative, and that's why the reason why we kind of shift some of the stuff. And,
so cool.
And I'm excited. I'm excited about that. But yeah. First week of the job, I'm excited. And then last week we went to Crystal River with our kids.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it was a scuba diving certification for our 2 kids, and we are not scuba divers. So, are you ready to sign up? You want to be a scuba diver?
Hell no, baby girl.
What?
And look. I do not want to get into it. I will get to all the specific, all the stuff next week because I want to give our kids the opportunity for us to interview them, or not interview them, but to bring them into he said, she said, see what they want to talk about when it comes to the scuba diving. Maybe hear some stories of how that is, because I feel like some people might be very interested in understanding how does that work? But after hearing how it is, I'm like, Like, I've been in the military. I've been in the Marine Corps. I've been through a lot of bullshit and a lot of things that I have done that require a lot of attention and silliness. I'm done with that.
Yeah, you're going to play it safe. You're going to remain on land.
I'm going to play it safe. Look, I remember rappelling of mountains. And I was like in Reno, Nevada, in the mountains up there. And we had to rappel with our backpack and just one rope. No carabiner, no safety, nothing. Just one rope. And you had to do it in such a way that... And you have the backpack on your back. And I'm like, bro, if I slip and fall, like, they're like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what the insurance is.
You're down and out.
Yeah.
So, there's somebody there, but they can't do nothing. Here you are, falling from a mountain. So you had to really, I already did the risky stuff.
I was going to say, okay. You're done being a risk taker.
Yeah. No. Listen,
you got it out of your system.
It's time for me to calm down. Like, look, I always wanted to be a wrestler. Like, I'm a huge WWE fan. You know this.
We know this.
I would love to be a wrestler. And I remember one time when I was working on radio early in the days, we used to have independent wrestling companies come to the town. It was back in Connecticut. And I was like, look, when they come down and they want the station to be part of that, I want to be in a wrestling match. And I want to be put through a table. Like, that's exactly what I want. I want to be put to a table. I want to know that pain. I want to just, but ask me that now? Hell no.
No, because you ain't going to bounce back and recover like you would 20 years ago.
I'm good. Yeah, don't put me through a table. The only way I get put through a table, and I will gladly do it, is if it's the Dudley Boys. And everybody that knows WWE knows what I'm talking about. If it's them and like, yo, we need somebody to go through a table, if they're going to do it, I'll trust them to do it.
Why did I think that you were going to say as if they're paying me to do that? I thought that's what you were going to say.
They also got to pay me. But I mean,
I would have wished. Is he gonna say he got to get paid?
I would have wished I was, a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully my next life, I don't know. Maybe that's what I'll be.
Maybe that's in the cards for you.
Maybe that's in the cards. You know what I'm saying? I know what you were back in your past life.
What was I?
You was a damn detective. You trying to lie to me? You a detective. All you watch. It's crime TV stuff and all that. So it's
48 hours, Dateline. What else do I watch? 48 hours.
I don't know, but there's a lot of red flags. I can put about 4 or 5 channels. That's 4 or 5 red flags for me right there. So if anything happens to your boy GMan,
do not listen to him.
Okay.
Then look at the last Dateline or 48 hours, 2020, and then that's gonna be the answer.
And then you see it. Then you know. All right, but listen, we have a great show for you today. We already started. I didn't even give no shout outs to our sponsors, Miramar Pools. If you need a pool, make sure you go check them out. And coming up in just a little bit here, I did an interview with Dr. Aldrich Mendoza from Alpha Medicine Rehab.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, so we're their ambassadors.
Yeah. And,
we did our own little research. Sometimes it's kind of crazy when you're representing a brand and you don't know about them. We've interviewed, or not interviewed, but we've spoken to their clients.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that the people that we represent are the real deal.
Yeah.
And we have done our due diligence in that, and they have spoken very well of them. They're an amazing people.
Yeah, they're like an open book. I love 100%. That about them.
And they're there to help people. And that's what I love about it. And we will continue to work with them as long as they want to continue to work with us. And I thought that it was great to kind of interview their doctor, they have a bunch of doctors, but Aldrich Mendoza is one of the head doctors there. And we wanted to interview him because I feel like sometimes people don't understand why these companies exist, right? Like, you get into a car wreck and first thing you do is either if you feel good, you go home and put some Bengay on it, which my mom would have done, and get that Bengay or that Vicks
she wouldn't
up in
use
there.
Vicks. I'm like, damn.
Or Vicks, Bengay or whatever.
Yeah.
But or people will go to the hospital and then boom, continue with their daily lives, not understanding that. But they
they'll just put a Band-Aid over it and hope that it goes away and that they're just happy they're okay.
Yeah, and there's like long-term effects that will probably come out years later. And once I started to understand that, I was like, yo, that's good information that people need to know. So
absolutely,
we are going to go live to Alpha Medicine Rehab where I interviewed Dr. Aldrich Mendoza, and he can explain everything that has to do with Alpha Medicine Rehab.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're in for a treat.
I'm in for a treat. And I got another thing. You ready for this crazy thing?
What?
I never turned our sign on.
Oh, no.
Our sign is off.
Why don't you plug it in? Plug it in.
I will plug it in when we get back from seeing Dr. Aldrich Mendoza. So let's go over there and check that out. By the time we come back, I'm going to turn this thing on.
We're going to light this baby up.
We're going to light it up on fire. We'll see you in a little bit. There you go. Oh, here we are in a He Said, She Said podcast. And today, from Alpha Medicine and Rehab, I have here Dr. Aldrich Mendoza. He's the Chief Medical Officer of Alpha Medicine and Rehab. He's a diplomat of the American Board of Family Medicine and a fellow of the American Academy of Family Physicians and a certified life care planner through the International Commission for Healthcare Certification. He has 15 years of experience in family medicine, urgent care medicine, occupational and personal injury medicine, and has been in medical leadership for more than half of his career. He was voted Outstanding Medical Leader for 2020 during his tenure under Optum Health, the provider arm of United Health Group. Please help me welcome Dr. Aldrich Mendoza. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yes, as you guys know, I don't know if you guys know, maybe you do. We do a lot of skits representing your company, Alpha Medicine and Rehab.
Thank you. Thanks for doing that.
Oh, you're very welcome. And we wanted to kind of talk to you about what it is that you guys actually do. Obviously, you guys do take care of patients that have been in car accidents, slip and falls.
Yeah.
And we really respect you guys as we've done stuff here throughout the office. We've talked to patients. They love what you guys do. They talk very highly of you guys and how you guys, treat them and take care of them. So, if you could walk us a little bit up through what is Alpha Medicine Rehab?
Sure.
What are the goals? What are you guys trying to
Sure.
do?
So Alpha Medicine and Rehab is a personal injury practice. And by that, we mean we deal with patients who have had like the unfortunate situation of having to deal with getting injured in motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall accidents, sometimes boating accidents, things of that nature. So those are the kinds of patients that we see at Alpha Medicine and Rehab.
And how did you get into what you do right now? Because obviously you've been a doctor for a long time.
Yeah.
And your resume speaks for itself.
Thank
But
you.
how did all of this get started and you got into this?
Well, it was really born out of frustration in my previous role. So before I started doing personal injury medicine, I have a long career in urgent care medicine. And one of the frustrating things about being in urgent care medicine or possibly in any other kind of medicine is the inability to work with patients who have been involved in these types of accidents, so personal injury accidents. A lot of times in our clinic, I'd be seeing patients knowing that I have the capability of seeing them in the urgent care setting. But unfortunately, because it was a motor vehicle accident or slip and fall, and it would not be covered by their regular medical insurance, we couldn't see them there and we'd have to have them seen somewhere else. So, I saw that many, many times throughout my career in urgent care and primary care. And I'm like, these people need to be taken care of just like everybody else. They're in fact, like their injuries require immediate attention.
Wow.
Which like they can't readily get other than going to the emergency room. So, you know, that's why I thought like there's definitely a need for this. It's something that me and my team can provide. We'll go ahead and do it.
Which is a good thing to know, because I feel like a lot of people, when they get into an accident, they don't understand the importance of seeing someone that can really talk to them about what they need to do, instruct them, because like you said, you're going to the hospital. So the first thing you're doing is you get in an ambulance, you go to the doctors, prescribe you some medicine, and then from there on, that's pretty much it. So like, Mike, let me ask you this. When someone gets into an accident, how long or within what time frame do they need to come see someone like yourself with your practice?
Yeah, so if you get into an accident, and you have the unfortunate situation where you do have injuries from it, it's probably best to get seen sooner rather than later. So like the earliest possible, not only so we can take care of you, but so we can also document the kinds of injuries you have. Ideally that would be within 14 days, from the time of your accident. That's like the best time to get seen. I know there are circumstances where that can't happen, and we'll obviously take care of you anyway, but it is very important to get seen, try and get seen within the first couple of weeks.
Now, explain to me why is that important. We already talked about don't only go to the hospital, get seen. If someone goes to the hospital, can they still come see you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, especially if you have very serious injuries, and I'm hoping this is a very small population of our patients, but if you have a very serious injury and you can't get to us right away, absolutely go to the emergency room. And they can start your treatment and we can continue it here. But it is definitely very important to get seen right away. Like I said, not only is to make sure that like your injury is addressed appropriately and immediately, but also to be able to document the types of injuries you have. Because the longer you wait, the less likely it is for us to appropriately show the level of injury you've experienced from an accident, if that makes sense.
Yes, and I'm guessing that a lot of that is for the long-term effects, because you might get into an accident today, 3 years from now your back starts hurt. You don't know where this came from all of a sudden, and that's why it's so important to document, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like one of the very, very common types of injuries that you can have in that kind of situation, let's say if you get concussed, or what we in our field call it mild traumatic brain injury. If you get a concussion and like a couple of days you feel better, that does not mean later on, moving forward several years from now, you won't have long-term effects of that concussion or mild traumatic brain injury. So if you think like, oh, I just have like this mild headache and a little bit of nausea from getting into this car wreck, and then it went away in like a week, oh, that's fine, I'm not going to get it taken care of. And then later on, you have what most of us now are very familiar with, called CTE, like those football players get from getting concussed in games. Like a regular person going through a motor vehicle accident can experience the same thing later on in life, and then it hasn't been addressed, hasn't been documented, and unfortunately because of that, moving forward will be very difficult to get addressed and properly taken care of by specialists. So
correct. And also pointing that CTE to the accident, because obviously,
oh yeah,
going to the hospital, you're not going to get those type of documents. It's through someone like yourself with Alpha Medicine Rehab that you guys document everything, so like that, if something was to happen to you years ago, you have somewhere to backtrack it for insurance purposes.
Absolutely. Like, you want the appropriate insurance company, or unfortunately in some cases the appropriate person, the person at fault, to be responsible for whatever injuries were caused on yourself. And that's the only way to do it.
Correct. So now let me ask you this. So, because I think that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people, when they get into a car accident, the first thing they say is, "Okay, I got to get to the hospital. Okay, I'm gonna sue, get some type of money. But I don't think they really understand that they also have the right to get seen and treated uh, for their injuries. And it's not just going to the hospital. Don't think that how much this is going to cost me, because I feel like, look, this is true. Insurance is very expensive nowadays. So if you're going to pay for the insurance, if I'm going to get injured, guess what? Use your insurance. Don't be scared to do so.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, there's a whole bunch of miseducation around out there, and for obvious reasons. Most people, thankfully, don't get into car wrecks or don't slip and fall in like a commercial facility or what have you. So there's very little experience in like just the regular world where you can like call your relative or call a friend of yours like, hey, I got into this wreck. How do I deal with it now? Who's going to pay for what? Is this something, that I can even use my personal, like my regular commercial medical insurance for? How do I deal with it? There's very little guidance out there. And if anything, there's definitely misinformation out there. So one of the nice things that we provide here as a service is we have patient advocates who can kind of help walk you through the process, not only of making sure that you are medically taken care of, but also we can point you in the direction of like several reputable attorneys who take care of these types of things for you on the legal side of things.
So if you get into an accident, you don't know what to do, you can call Alpha Medicine Rehab.
Yes, sir.
You guys can partner them up with someone that's already been through your process, so they understand the process. Someone knows, at least understands what they're going through, and you can also give them some attorneys' phone numbers and legal, so they can take care of that part as well.
Absolutely. So yes, we have somebody who can walk you through every step of the way in dealing with your injury, and in all aspects. How do you get your medicine? If you're going to need surgery, what is that like? If you're going to need some kind of pain management procedure, what is that like? Who do I need to talk to about like getting my police report? Who do I need to talk to about like getting legal representation for myself? Good. So all of that, yes, we do have like, patient advocates who can help you through
That's
that
great,
process.
because, it has to be a very frustrating situation when you're going through that, and then not knowing the legalities and terminologies or the right questions to ask, or the information to get, or things you got to turn in. Insurance are very complicated nowadays as well. They are asking for things that you're probably not going to understand. So to have that legal representation, to have those advocates in your side that understand what the process looks like, is definitely going to make it very helpful for someone that doesn't know a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not just a very confusing situation for a patient. It's also a very frustrating situation for a patient, and they have a lot to worry about. Not only did they potentially like lose their only means of transportation to get to and from wherever they need to go, to get to and from work. So there may be like, limitations now on how much work they can do. So there's no income coming in. And then now they got to go see a doctor. Now they got to go see a physical therapist. They got to get like imaging studies. How much is that all going to cost? How am I going to be able to afford all that? There's so much that like our patients go through, that like your regular run of the mill, sick or otherwise injured patient doesn't ever have to deal with. And it's all new, and like you mentioned, complicated, and sometimes intentionally made to be complicated.
Correct.
So
it's overwhelming.
It's there's so much stuff. Yeah.
Correct. It's very overwhelming. So let me ask you this. Let's say, you guys obviously have locations all over Florida.
Sure. Yeah.
You guys locations in Texas.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm here in Florida. I'm with Alpha Medicine Rehab. At least I know how to get to you guys.
Yes, sir.
I'm somewhere. Friday, went for the weekend, either out of state, out of town. Something happens to me. Number one is, what are some home remedies that I can do while I wait back and come here? That's number one. Number two is, can I get a hold of you guys while I'm out and about to explain my injuries? Obviously, if it's serious enough, I'm going to the hospital.
Yeah.
But if it's not, go to the hotel room, Airbnb, what are the things that I could do at home, at least to get me through the weekend before I come see you guys?
Yeah. So things to do at home when you get into an accident before you even see a doctor or you see a healthcare professional. Ice all the areas that are hurting. Like put like some cold packs or ice packs on those areas. Take yourself some type of over-the-counter analgesic or pain medicine, Tylenol or ibuprofen, unless there's a reason for you not to take either one of those medicines. You're allergic, it's not good for you because of some medical condition you have. But otherwise, a normal healthy adult can take Tylenol or ibuprofen, get some like ice packs on all those painful areas, and then don't over exert yourself. So don't do anything strenuous outside of what you would normally do. So don't make any plans of doing that until you see a healthcare professional. Now, how can you get a hold of us if you are in those few areas where we're not located? Because like as you mentioned, we have several locations all throughout Florida, and we're probably very close to wherever you might be. But
Correct.
But in those few instances that we're not, what you can do is get in touch with us, and we can do what's called a telemedicine visit. So that telemedicine visit is something that can be done, securely and privately via a link that we send to your any smartphone, and a provider
wow.
can see you. Yeah, and a provider can see you. You get evaluated through this telemedicine visit. Send at least like some initial medicines, order some initial imaging studies if necessary, and have the ball rolling as far as your medical treatment is concerned, until you can get to one of our clinics.
And and that's great to even know that you can, technology. I'm telling you, it amazes me how, before you couldn't do none of this. You had to go to the doctor's office, but now, you can send them, hey, I got these bruises. Okay, send me pictures of the bruise. Let me see what's going on. I'm going to prescribe this to you right now. It's over the weekend, but you can at least get some type of help through that process. Now, obviously, this would happen maybe if, you feel, okay, I don't really need to go to the hospital or whatever. But what are the signs that I really need to go get seen? When we know, because sometimes you get into an accident, you don't really feel anything, but what are the injuries that you will say that, okay, you need to go get seen?
Yeah, so one of the most common issues, well, we kind of discussed one of them already, which is like, any type of headache, especially if it's associated with nausea, you feel foggy headed, you have ringing in your ears, things of that nature. Those
Yes.
may be signs that you've had a concussion or a mild traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
Definitely need to be seen immediately. Anything to do with your neck and back, if you have any kind of pain in your neck or back, especially if it's associated with numbness or tingling in your fingers or hands, in your legs, anything like that. Those are definitely you need to be seen pretty quickly. The obvious things like if you have a fracture or a broken bone, you need to get those seen about right away. But those are like the very very common things we see here. That like our experts here from our physical therapy team uh, to our specialist physicians can take care of, and we handle all the time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What other, like the common injuries that you would usually receive from anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
As far as accidents or slip and falls. Obviously, it has to do with a back and your neck.
Yeah.
And what are the psychological effects of the injury? And then do you guys help with those? Because obviously, mental health is a big deal. And how do you guys work with that?
Yeah. So yes, definitely. There's a big focus, obviously, when you get into a wreck to like take care of like the physical problems, the physical injuries. But make no mistake, the psychological impact of an injury is very very important. There are immediate effects, like if you get post-traumatic stress, you get anxiety after like an accident. Those are almost immediate. Like it becomes very difficult for you to sleep because you keep replaying the accident in your head that just happened. But there's also longer term effects, like depression, for example, can set in if you're a person who, number one, wasn't really used to have, being in pain, and then now you're in pain 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you're in pain. That can take its toll on you, because you have to deal with this pain that you've never had to deal with before, and then you're not sleeping. You may be having, like, issues getting your car taken care of, not getting to work. So those are, those take a toll on someone. And so at Alpha Medicine Rehab, we definitely recognize that, and because of that, we've taken into our team, like, experts in psychology and psychiatry. We have psychologists, we have a neuropsychologist, and we have a psychiatrist in their team that can take care of the impact of mental on your mental faculties and mental health with injuries. So
wow, so that's impressive that you guys have psychologists, orthopedics, lawyers, doctors, therapists. So all in one place. So if you guys ever need any type of assistance, you get into a car situation, slip and fall at work, anything you need, any type of representation, you do not know where to go, come to Alpha Medicine Rehab, because it will help you from the very beginning of the process to the very end of the process.
Absolutely. We will, our goal is to make sure that, like, our patients are taken care of, and we try to get them as back to pre-accident condition as we can. That's our goal. We do that for each and every one. Like I said, not just physically, mentally. We want to get you there. We want to help.
Thank you so much, man. I mean, I really appreciate that you guys came. You came into this type of practice through passion, seeing people that needed the help. You wanted to do more because being in urgent care is like, hey, this is not going to cut it for this person.
Absolutely not.
They're going to need more, and not being able to help them, knowing that you can help them, but because obviously restrictions, you're urgent care, we only take care of this here, and insurance things, or whatever the case might be. Want to thank you for doing that for the people out of passion.
Oh yes, it's more than our pleasure. I think the feedback that we've received, like you've mentioned, like, kind of fuels our passion continuously with it. So we're very, very happy to help. We're happy to be able to help a whole bunch more people now that we have all these locations. So if you're in this unfortunate situation, nobody ever wants to be a victim of an accident, but we're here to help.
You're here to help. There you guys have it. Alpha Medicine and Rehab, Dr. Aldrich Mendoza. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Jorge.
We really do appreciate it. Make sure you go check them out. Alpha Medicine and Rehab. They're available on Instagram. They're also available on our TikTok, our Facebook, our Instagram on SWAGmodovars. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, and we are back. And what an amazing... So much great information.
I was going to say, so informative, so great. I mean,
so if you guys get into a situation, get a wreck, if you're in the Florida area, in the Texas area, make sure you go check them out, because they're really about it. And, if you get into an accident, even if you're somewhere else, it's good to get with a company that's really going to look after you and put all the records together and really help you with that process. And then what I love about it too, baby girl, is that if you don't know, like, if you feel lost, they guide you through the whole thing.
From beginning to end.
From the beginning to end. Like, they got the doctors, the psychologists for for the psychiatry part of it, doctors, orthopedic surgeons, spinal surgeons, therapy. So to have somebody that you can go to, because, you will feel lost without that type of information. So
you're going to be brand new, let me tell you. And this is not only car accidents, slip and falls, anything that can happen to you, or even management. So some of your insurance will cover sessions throughout the year to make sure that you do preventative care as well.
Correct.
So there's so much that they offer. Please don't hesitate to reach out to
them.
Do
not hesitate to do that. And I also want to say, moving on from that, is that we're finally... in iHeartRadio and the podcast. So you can find us on the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah.
And you can also check us out on Apple. We're an Apple podcast as well. And we're on Spotify as well. So, you know, he said, she said, you can find us everywhere. So if you have your favorite platform, we are there. Just look for the he said, she said, look for SWAGmodovars. Those are some of the hashtags you can use to find our podcast. And if you're having some trouble, let us know. We'll get you the link to those platforms so like that you can listen to our podcast, because we're trying to do that about once every week.
Yeah.
Right? We're trying to do a podcast.
I had a couple of friends come up to me at work and say they heard the podcast.
Oh, for real?
Yes, and they had good feedback. They said it was super funny. And they were like, I love it. Are you going to continue to do more? And I'm like, absolutely. That's the whole goal of it.
Correct.
Is to continue to bring more content to you and stuff that has substance and that has meaning not only to you guys, but to us too.
Well, I think that it also gives the people a little behind the scenes of how we really are, how we really think, and things like that. You know, they start to see what we do, the podcast and doing interviews. They're like, oh my God, wait a minute, this guy is good. Don't forget, I work in radio. So, of course, I can interview somebody.
It's that radio voice.
It's a radio voice.
Hey, I'm really enjoying listening to you on the radio, too.
For real?
I'm like, I like his voice.
Thank you. Which, by the way, listen, and I, look, bro, oh my God, I just,
Wait, did you just call me bro? What?
Yeah, my dog. You my
dog.
You my dog, girl. Listening, like understanding iHeart more and more, I'm like, oh my God, these guys are crazy dope. Like they have this, you know, they got the iHeart Radio app, but I didn't know that on the iHeart Radio app, if you listen to the station or any station that you love, maybe in your city, there's a station, there's an iHeart Radio station, look for them in the iHeart Radio app. And there's a feature, there's a talk back feature in there that you could send a message to the radio personality on the air. And they'll play it. So now you don't even need to call the station. All you do is at the fingertips. So if you're in the car, you don't have to call. You go to the app, you press the button, and hey man, thanks so much, or whatever it is. Or they're having a topic, you don't even have to call. You just do it.
And
you do
that's
it
how you interact with the person the personality on air.
Well, they're interacting with you because you're interacting with them through the microphone. You know, but. You know, you're not having conversations through the app, but you are sending your messages through the app. If you want to, hey, man, I love the mix, or I love this, I love that. Make sure you go ahead and download the iHeartRadio app. And in your city, if you support an iHeartRadio station, look for them on there. And the great thing about that is you could take them everywhere.
Yeah.
If there's a radio station that you love, like you love Magic 100.1, you could listen to them anywhere you want on the iHeartRadio app, and you can always send them a message. And I think, look, it's great also to let those radio personalities know how you feel about their show. If you are a faithful listener, please make sure you guys go ahead and send them a message, because it means so much to us to hear from you, you know, and listening from, you know, from your lips saying, you know what, I love the radio station. I love how you do it. You make me feel great. You know, but I had a stressful day. I get to unwind. Thank you for making me laugh. And those are things that we love to hear. So,
I mean, nice. I'm all good with all that you just said. But what about the biggest problem I'm having? I got the Jeep open.
Yeah.
I got the windows down.
Okay.
I'm singing at the top of my lungs to these 80s and 90s music. Yes. And people are staring at me. The looks that I'm getting ain't cool. So what am I supposed to do with that? What do I do with all the people around me?
You gotta ignore them, girl. You gotta continue. Just
you know
vibe
what
it
I
out.
did? I put a hat on. I put sunglasses on. I changed my look. I was like, they're not gonna know it's me. They're not gonna know. They're not gonna know.
It's okay. They know it's you. They're gonna be like, yo, what are you listening to? It was funny because I did a video this past week of how the 80s and 90s music, they always get our emotions all over the place. So you guys got to go check it out. Go to our SWAGmodovars page on Instagram and watch that watch
the array of emotions that come over GMan throughout the day.
But they're so funny, you know. So like, because in those days they were just the 80s and the 90s, so we were doing certain things like, you know, like I talk about how you used to beep your girlfriend 143, which the real ones know what 143 is. What does 143 means?
I love you.
You feel me? Yeah. So, you know, I talk about that. I talk about that phone that you used to have on the kitchen with the long ass cord, and you used to bring it to your room, and a big cord going all the way to your room.
Wait, the same cord that then periodically I would hear my mom like this on the other side. She'd be like,
"Hang up."
Mom, I know you're on the phone. I know you picked up the other line.
They're trying to sneak in and find your conversation. Yeah, I know.
I'm like, I
My
gotta
mom,
go.
and that's the thing. Like those are very nostalgic things that we all remember because we all went through it.
Yeah.
You know, we all had the grandma's house that it was the sofas were full of plastic. They were wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, and you stuck to them all
and you
sweating.
stuck to them all sweating. You stuck to them. So either you knew a grandmother had it or your grandma had it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or you had the curtain with all the beads on it. You know what I'm saying? So like those things.
You know,
are
I
just
used to
really
get
cool.
stuck in those, like, like I think I'm gonna die now.
That's
Because I
amazing.
would be the one to try to run through those beads. I don't know what I was thinking.
I know it
wasn't.
was great, but listen, guys, thank you so much for tuning
Aw.
in. We appreciate you, and I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Next week, what we're going to try to do is interview our kids, so they can be part of the podcast. Give us, the Crystal River scenario.
There you go.
We'll talk about the springs. We'll talk about all that good stuff that we went to see, to experience all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I had another topic that oh yes, and we got to talk about TikTok because now
Oh my goodness.
it has been signed.
It has been
And it's
signed.
going to be banned. And by next week we'll have more information.
Well,
but
there's a clock rolling, right? There's a clock.
I think it's like
going on.
9 months, and I'm very upset about all of this because.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm gonna dive more into it, but I just like they're taking people's freedoms away. Like I don't understand that. I don't understand. That's my whole thing. It's like, you say that we are the land of the free. You want to give us freedom for us to choose things, but you're taking so many people's rights away with different laws and things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so what's going on? So are we not free? Like, what's going on? Like, why can't I? Because all this TikTok security stuff is like, we got more things to really worry about, and fix. Instead of worrying about an application that people are enjoying.
Yeah, it's gonna affect a lot of people.
And businesses.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and for
saying.
what? Just because you feel like, and I don't feel like, look, you got all this information from us. Like what are they going to know? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's my thing. Like, hey, what are they going to know? That I live here, that I'm doing a podcast, that I open my phone and I search for
Funny videos
for a video,
or content
or I
to
went.
do.
I mean, Facebook. You think of something you want to buy, and you automatically get a notification, or you thinking of getting microphones and stuff like that. I just thought about this stuff. Like it's reading my mind.
Yeah.
So they really are. So like when you have the Chinese government is gonna get there, like relax. Okay, you're thinking way too much
Calm
into this
down.
stuff, and I guess some people. We'll say, no, but that's right. It's China. We got to make sure that they don't. Like, bro, there's a lot of things that we got to worry about other than that. People are laughing. People are closer. We're closer because of this app.
I know.
We have a lot of great people that follow us because of this app. We have met a lot of amazing people because of this app.
We've had a lot of opportunities
Because of this app. Yeah, I mean,
Like,
our
it could go
lives
on and on.
change, and it changes for other people. I mean, you got people that are on TV and doing sitcoms because of this app.
Yeah.
And it's like, it has just open opportunities. So there's really nothing that we have experienced that is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think that is a right thing to do, then obviously you haven't taken advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah.
But it's very sad. But we'll talk about that more because I want to know what our kids think about. Because, I think about one way, our kids think about a whole totally different way.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that. So we're definitely going to do that on the He Said, She Said podcast. Lady G, any last words, baby girl?
Hey, follow our son on TikTok and on Instagram. He's been posting on there. The Real
Yes.
King Rando.
Real King Rando. Go check him out.
So it's Real King Rando.
Let me go check him out. Hold on. I'm going to tell you right now.
But check
While you
his
continue.
stuff out. He's working hard at that. And while he's looking for that,
Yeah.
SWAGmodovars is now on Snapchat, and so we want you to take part of that so that you can see what we got going on.
Okay, so on TikTok is king.rando. That's on TikTok is king.rando. And
There you go.
on Instagram, see, and this is a thing that I got to talk to him about because then on Instagram is Real King Rando. Real King Rando on Instagram.
So what do you got to talk to him about?
Because I think it's very important when you try to get everything the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead
So
of
your handle should be
like
the same
real-
on all platforms.
You should try to get it like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the simplest,
easier.
the most simplest way. Like for my radio station, GMan, on Instagram is GMan on air. On Facebook, it's just GMan. But sometimes it's hard because GMan on there might be taken here, but GMan is taken over here. And it's like, you get to these little, so, we try. But it's the best thing to do is try to get those all together. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. We love y'all. We'll be back next week. And make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to listen to the He Said, She Said podcast. Make sure you check me out on Magic 100.1, 100.1. If you love the 80s and the 90s, yes, that's where I'm at.
I do.
Yes, you do. And it'll be great. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll take Lady G with me to the radio one day.
Maybe.
Do a show with me on the radio.
I'm going to have, I will make myself available. I have the summer off for 5 weeks and I'm all yours.
Boom, I like to hear that, girl.
Yes.
Be mine tonight. You ready?
I'll have to. Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go. All right. We'll check you guys out. Have a good one. Take care. And we are out.
Let's get busy.
Peace. Ooh, let's go, girl. Yeah, let's go.